Hello everyone, I am Dr. Wajid Shabir with another interesting case on ECG interpretation. This is our case for today, but before we start the discussion on this ECG, as always, I would like you to pause your videos, note down the findings and diagnosis with yourself so that at the end of the video you can compare your findings and diagnosis with the discussion done in this video. So let's begin the discussion on this ECG. When we look at the rhythm strip, we can find an important and prominent finding in this rhythm strip. You can see that before each QRS complex there is a small spike. Here you can see that there is a small spike before each QRS complex. Similarly, before each P wave you can find a small spike. Normally, as you have seen in previous videos, that there is no such spike in rhythm strip or in other leads in ECG. This spike on an ECG before P waves or QRS complex basically indicates paced rhythm. So this is an ECG of a patient with pacemaker. Whenever you find an ECG with pacing spikes, there are few questions which should come into your mind. Firstly, you should ask yourself that whether it is a single chamber or dual chamber pacemaker. Secondly, whether the capture of the pacing spike or pacemaker is intact or not. By capture, I mean that after the pacing spike, there should be a QRS complex in case of ventricular pacing, while in case of atrial pacing, after the pacemaker spike, there should be a P wave. So if we find a P wave after the pacing spike in case of atrial rhythm, in case of atrial pacing, and QRS complex after the pacing spike in case of ventricular pacing, it means that the capture is intact. Third thing is whether the sensing of the pacemaker is intact or not. Now, how can we say that the sensing is intact in a patient with pacemaker? For sensing to be intact, if the ECG shows a P wave, intrinsic P wave, the atrial lead or atrial pacemaker should inhibit itself. Means that there should be no pacing spike before P wave if the atrial lead or atrial pacemaker is intact. Similarly, in case of ventricular pacemaker or ventricular lead, if there is a PVC, the pacemaker lead should detect the PVC and it should inhibit itself from pacing. If this is the case, then we would say that the sensing is intact. Now the next thing is you look at the rate of the pacing, the rate of the ventricular or atrial pacing. So in this case, we will try to look at these parameters of pacemaker on this ECG. As you can see that there is a pacing spike before QRS complex. Then there is a slight delay followed by another pacing spike and a QRS complex. So here we can see that both atria and ventricle are being paced. So it means that there are two leads, one in right atrium and the other one in right ventricle. This is also called AV sequential pacing. After that, in the next step, we will look whether there is an intact capture or not. If we follow the rhythm strip, we can see that each atrial spike is being followed by a P wave, while each ventricular spike is being followed by a QRS complex. Here you can see that whenever there is a pacing spike, it is followed by either a P wave or a QRS complex. So we can say that the capture is intact in this case. Now we will see whether the sensing is intact or not. Here in this beat, you can see that there is a ventricular spike followed by a QRS complex, while you cannot see an atrial pacing spike here. Probably the atrial lead sensed a premature P wave here and it inhibited the atrial pacing, resulting in no pacing spike before P wave. So we can say that the atrial sensing is intact here. While the atrial sensing is intact, we cannot comment on the ventricular sensing here. The reason is that we cannot find a PVC here, which if present would have resulted in inhibition of ventricular pacing. Now next step is the rate of pacemaker. For the backup rate of a pacemaker, we will calculate the heart rate as we did in our previous ECGs by rule of 300. We will calculate the large boxes between two QRS complexes. First large box has 300, 150, 100 and then 75. So the pacing rate is around 75 beats per minute. Now another important finding which we often ignore in case of bundle branch block or in case of a paced rhythm is that we can see that there is an ST elevation in inferior leads. Here you can see that there are prominent ST elevations in lead 3 in AVF. Similarly, there are ST depressions in lead 1 and lead AVL. Also, you can see that there is a significant ST depression in lead V2, more than 1 millimeter ST depression in lead V2. Just like the bundle branch block, in case of a paced rhythm, we apply Garbosa criteria to detect the presence or absence of ST elevation MI. As we know from our previous knowledge that in Garbosa criteria, an ST elevation of more than 5 millimeter or 5 small square in leads with discordant QRS complex mean that there are 2 points. Here you can see in lead 3 that the QRS complex is deflected downwards while there is an ST elevation of about 5 millimeter which is discordant to the QRS complex. So it means that we have 2 points of Garbosa criteria here. Similarly, in Garbosa criteria, if there is ST depression of 1 or more millimeter in lead V1 to V3, there will be 3 points on Garbosa criteria. So, as we said that in lead V2 there is significant ST depression, it is around 2 to 3 millimeter. So, there are 3 points on Garbosa criteria in this ECG. Any ECG with bundle branch block or a paced rhythm with Garbosa point of 3 or more has a 90% positive predictive value for ischemia, that is ST elevation MI. So we can say that this is an ECG with dual chamber pacemaker with AV sequential pacing and intact atrial sensing and intact capture with inferior wall MI as per Garbosa criteria. So this is all for today. Hopefully you like the video. For more videos, kindly subscribe to our channel and stay tuned.